Coming up next, I'll give you some tips if you're an hourly worker that's affected by the coronavirus. I'll tell you how to keep perspective during a pandemic. We'll take your calls and your chats. It all starts right now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. I'm Ken. So excited to have you with us. How we doing out there today? Can we just acknowledge some of you have been cooped up now for a little bit? Let me say thanks for tuning in. But let's do a quick poll, shall we, in the chat room. If you are either self-quarantined or you've been medically quarantined or you are just in full-on social distancing, give us a thumbs up in there. I want to see, I just want our team to be able to track of who's watching, who is in some form of isolation. This is a fascinating time, folks, and the needle is moving every day. And we are surrounded by uncertainty. And yet, there's so much that we can be certain of. And I'm going to, as long as I can, I'm going to be coming to you and helping you with perspective. So let's start with some perspective in a very hard-hit sector of our economy, the hourly worker. Hourly workers are getting laid off quickly, suddenly, and this is scary stuff when it just kind of happens, and then you go, okay, what do I do next? And a good little reminder of some things you can do from Career Builder, but then I'm just going to give you a couple quick things, and then I'm going to teach on this. Number one, the entire economy is not shutting down despite what you hear. Your hourly job may, and in some cases, it's almost guaranteed that certain hourly positions in certain industries like retail, like the tourism industry, restaurants, so forth and so on, they're going to be affected. If people aren't going out, they're just going to be affected. But what are some transferable skills that could allow you to work from home? There are certain industries that will continue to be flourishing because of their importance to our everyday life. We're not going to stop living. If I see the hashtag cancel living, well, then we got a real problem. But that's not happening. Number two, look for contract work and opportunities that are going to be fueled by the shift in certain areas of demand. So again, delivery drivers, you're going to see more medical opportunities open up. This is happening. There's an explosion there. Amazon, 100,000 jobs because of people just staying home and ordering things online. Be looking. Don't just sit there and allow this to happen to you. Happen to it. Number three, what are some salaried positions that you could step into because of your experience, or in this case, just willingness to, hey, I'm going to show up. Number four, be looking specifically to the industries that are responding to this new reality of the coronavirus. So where there are responses because of high demand, you need to be looking there. Now, those are, again, good points there from Career Builder. But here's what I want you to hear. Nobody knows what this cycle is going to be like. And this is a rapid response. And in rapid responses, many times we as people don't get it right. I am not going to walk through a list of things that I think that America's leaders are doing wrong. I'm not going there. What I'm telling you is this. Here's what I know. Because I want to talk to you about things I'm certain of that you should be certain of. This thing is going to cycle through, and there's going to be, and we're already seeing, economic fallout. However, if you are an hourly worker and you are being laid off because of the contraction of people in the marketplace. I mean, people just aren't going and buying, or the demand has dropped precipitously. Understand that's coming back. Now you're going, Ken, thanks for that, buddy. I get that. But what do I do now? Well, it's too late, to be honest with you, for you to have an emergency fund. It's too late. But you can't survive. So let's have some perspective right now that, are you going to thrive right now? It's possible, no, that you're not going to thrive. But you will survive, and you can survive. Hole up with people. Okay? Do whatever you got to do. Okay? Don't go grocery shopping. Eat whatever you got to eat. Do whatever you got to do. You're not going to starve. You're not going to be homeless. This is a temporary deal. I wish I could tell you how temporary it is. I don't know. I'm still believing that America's business and government leaders are trying to react to soothe our confidence. And when the confidence has been soothed, the money will begin to reinvest on the stock market, and you go into grocery stores, you go into restaurants, you go into amusement parks. That's all coming back. You have got to just hang on. Now, later in the program, I'm going to address the perspective that you need to have in a pandemic. I'm going to go more into this with some specific things, 5 specific actions I think you need to be employing every day, but we'll get to that. But first, back to the phones we go. 844-747-2577. Keep in mind, as we talk today, your unique role hasn't disappeared. The fact that you are needed has not gone away. And the duty to be you has not been alleviated. That is still on your shoulders. And so we move ahead. Let's go to Zach, who joins us in Detroit, Michigan. Zach, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi.
Hey, Zach. How can I help?
Well, I came across your podcast, and I was listening to Dave one day, and I couldn't help but think that it applied to me. And my situation is I kind of feel like I'm in a trade where I don't really belong, but it's got good money eventually, and I'm in the apprentice role, so it's like you're kind of everyone's slave.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it's kind of demeaning at times, and you're told to grit and bear, and then when you finish your apprenticeship, there's great salary, but I don't really enjoy my work all that much, and I'm just
let me ask you this:
more of a purpose.
Yeah, well, okay, and we'll get to that, but I'm curious. Do you not enjoy the apprenticing part, or is it just the industry, the work itself? And let me put it more specifically. If I told you your apprenticeship was done today and you were to move into the nice salary position, that work, how would you be feeling about it? The same or different?
Immediately, probably better, but I would still feel kind of distanced. Okay. I mean, the money is just a Band-Aid, I guess.
Okay, great. Well, let me ask you what you think you want to do, or what you know you want to do, but you're not quite sure how to get there. What pops to top of mind when I ask you that?
I would say probably some kind of business. I just have no idea what in.
Okay, tell me more.
I like helping people.
What's the role? What's the role that you think you would love to fill during the day? Let's say you're in the business world. Are you working for yourself or working for somebody else?
I would say probably working for myself.
Okay. What would that business be? What problems do you get excited about solving? What solutions give you the juice when you think about bringing those solutions? Or who are the people? Put a face on them. Put a problem on them. And you go, I want to help those people in business, through business. What comes to mind?
I like helping my peers. No one in particular, just people that, come to me for questions. I like money problems. I seem to be kind of mathematically inclined, so.
Mm-hmm. So you've always been good always been good at numbers, with numbers?
Yeah.
You good at analysis of numbers, data, patterns? That's a real natural, easy lane for you to run in?
Yes.
And when people come to you, your peers, they ask you questions. What kind of questions are we talking about?
Money questions, or maybe some kind of investing, whatever I'm doing. Just kind of personal endeavors, I guess.
Yeah. Why do you love money and helping people with money? What's behind that? What's the why?
I would say that money gives you a little bit more freedom to do things, and if you make bad decisions, you have less freedom, and usually causes a little bit of pain there.
Mm-hmm. Have you had issues with money in the past and you've overcome them, or have you just always come from a stable financial situation and you go, man, it makes me just sad for people when they're in bad financial situations?
I would say a little of both. I've definitely had my share of bad decisions.
All right, so how about we turn your brain off for a moment, Zach? You willing to answer this next question with your heart?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I don't want you to think about how this happens. I just want you to think about the where you'd love to be. If I could wave my Ken Coleman Show pencil around in the air and I say poof, and without any delay, I instantly put you in a situation where you cannot fail. You're going to be successful, can't fail. Money's not a problem. And it's something you get to try. You don't have to commit the rest of your life to this. So we take all the pressure away is what I've just done. What is it that you would try tomorrow?
I would probably say a financial advisor.
Yeah. Investments. Is that right? More that line?
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah. Well, listen, I mean, when you say I probably would say that, is that just the way you talk, or is that you going, I think it might be this, but I'm not sure? I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you of that gut response?
I would say a 7. I'm not 100% sure.
Is there something else that you wonder about? What's the secondary answer?
Not in particular. My mother was a financial consultant, but she's got a lot of problems. So I don't know if those are because of the career or if that actually.
Okay, now that's why you're a 7. You just gave me the clue. The reason that you're a 7 on this is because your mom hasn't done well, and you wonder. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading into this. That's what I'm supposed to do here. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. That because your mom hasn't been successful in a similar role, you wonder if you have what it takes to be successful.
Yes.
Okay.
Nail on the head.
Okay. So it's really a 9 or a 10, but you're dealing with doubt, which makes you feel like you're a 7. So let's remove the doubt. Again, I guarantee you that you can be successful. How sure are you?
I would high 9s.
Okay. So I think there's the clarity. Stage 1 of meaningful work and living the dream is get clear. Now it's about getting qualified. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is get connected. Stage 4 is get started. And stage 5 is get promoted. And then eventually you'll get that dream job. You'll be in that dream job scenario. And that's stage 6. And stage 7 is you give yourself away. And it's just, I'm just fully fulfilled in my work. And I don't work for the money anymore. I'm just working because I'm doing exactly what I know I'm supposed to do. That's the journey for you. Okay. That's what's before you. So do you know what it takes to get qualified? Do you know what you're going to have to learn and do to get that distinction as a financial advisor to be able to do that?
No, I don't.
Okay. That's your next step. All right. So what is the licensing? What's the experience that you're going to need? So it's about learning and doing. And that's what you got to figure out right now, because that's not going to be so scary once you get the answers to that. But right now it's unknown. And so it feels like an insurmountable mountain. And so right now, this is all about making sure that you do your homework, and that's something you can do. Online, it's not difficult to find out. To be a financial advisor, an investment advisor in the state of Michigan in the United States, there is a certain level of criteria, if you will, of qualification that you have to have. You can go find that out within 10 minutes, probably, or 20, 30 minutes of hanging up the phone with me. So that's the next step. What do I need to learn and do to get qualified? Zach, these are the 3 questions you have to answer in the days ahead. What do I need to learn and do to get qualified? All right, so how much is that going to cost me? And based on my financial reality, how long is that going to take? Now you've got yourself the 3 main pillars of building your dream. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, my man, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to get busy. And I'd love to hear back from you when you step into that. These are the stories and the journeys that we want to stay in touch with. So if you're somebody that has been watching or been listening to the program and you called in and you made some progress, we want you to share that because it really encourages people. 844-747-2577 is the number. Now we go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Cindy is on the line. Cindy, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, Cindy. What's happening?
Okay, here goes. Okay, I do work in the medical industry, and 5 years ago, I had made a researched and calculated career change to another field in the industry, and about a year into it, I walked away because of the environment I was working in, and 5 years later, I mean, I had a lot of plans riding on that move, and I miss it, and I want back on that path.
Okay.
But that's where the problem starts.
Okay. Tell me more about the problem.
Okay. The career is cancer registry. It's very small. It's a very small field. And so everybody in the area, we all know everyone. You know, they all know each other. They meet monthly. And so I feel like I'd never worked in a toxic environment before or since, and I did not handle it well. Okay. And so I feel like the perception of me to these other people who are in the field is that I'm a drama person, just like the people I was working with. And I have applied twice for positions, one in my hospital system and one outside of my system, and I couldn't even get an interview. I've reached out to the ladies who are in those departments, and all four of them didn't, return my emails. And I don't know how to break back in. I'm not a drama person. I did let it get the best of me. I did, but that's not who I am.
Right. Well, first of all, let's address that. You are acknowledging that you didn't handle it the best way. You're absolutely right. Doesn't make you a bad person. Who among us handles toxicity really, really well? Okay, that's a difficult situation. I think you've learned from it. I don't think this should be a stain on who you are. I don't think you should be walking around in shame. I got to tell you, what I'm about to tell you is not going to be fun to hear. But I do. But I got to tell you the truth. I think the way for you to break back in, at least the only way that I can see, assuming that you believe that the word has spread in this very small community that you're a drama queen, and that's why you believe, we don't know this for sure, but you have a hunch that's why you're not getting return emails, correct? Hello? Hold on. Let something happen. You just went into Charlie Brown voice. Talk back to me.
In that regard, is what I just said.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you said to my question. Are you certain that that's why you're not getting emails, or is that just a hunch?
Well, I mean, nearly all of the women that I know in the community were trained by the lead registrar, who I was under, and by the time, and they all left. She trained them, they left, and when I came in, then she wouldn't train me. She just. I don't know what happened. She just refused to train me. So they all understood my angst, all these other women. And I was taking online courses. I mean, I got it. I understood it. It came to me. And out of all of it's called abstracting. Out of all the abstracting files I did, which was well over 300, only 2 errors came back. Okay. And I was being self-taught.
I get it.
So it can't be my work. It couldn't have been my work performance.
Right. No, I understand that. What I'm saying is, do you know that you know that you know, or is it just a hunch that because you had a blow up or whatever happened? I don't even care. We don't need to break it down. Mm-hmm. Do you know that that's why you're getting no response, or do you just feel that that's what it is? That's what I want to know. A fact. Is it a fact or a feeling?
No one has told me. I feel it's most likely. Yes.
All right. Okay. And I think your hunch is probably correct. So now here's the hard part. The only way for you to break back in is you're going to have to go. You said they gather once a month. I think you got to show up. I think you got to show up and swallow your pride. Is the person that didn't train you, that person's no longer in the picture?
She's gone.
She's gone.
She retired.
She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think you come in, and I think you swallow your pride. How many people are in these gatherings? Give me a ballpark.
Oh, maybe 10.
Oh, my gosh. This is perfect.
Yeah, it's not much.
But, Cindy, this is going to be hard. But you got to show up at the next gathering, and you got to be humble. You've got to be warm with a big smile, and you got to say, can I have 3 minutes to address the group? And there's something I need to share. It's positive, but I just need to share it. And I think you need to look at them all, and you got to go, hey, here's the deal. One of the hardest things in the world is to admit when you're wrong. And so I'm here today to confess, or whatever wording you want to use, and just say, hey, I didn't handle the situation well. Don't rewind it all. Don't say she didn't do this, she didn't do that. Just say, I felt victimized. I didn't handle it right. I didn't handle it the way I should have. I absolutely acknowledge that. Could have been a better situation, but I also could have handled it way better. And as a result, I took it personal. I let it get to me, and I did this. And as a result, it burned a few bridges, and I want to build those bridges back. And to the extent that you'll play a part in allowing me to build those bridges back, I want you to know that I learned a tremendous amount. And this is what I learned. I did this wrong. I did this, and I did this. Call it out. If there's 3 things you did wrong, call all 3 out. If you did 2 things wrong, call out the 2. You will find that most of the time, and I'm going to stop short of guaranteeing you here, Cindy, but you will find that most of the time when you handle it that way, people are blown away by your vulnerability. They are blown away by your honesty and humility, and they go, wow, that's attractive. Cindy, we get it. And I think you'll find that they can be very compassionate, and that they will forgive you or whatever they've heard, or that they will see a different side of you that they've not been able to see. And yet you're not making it about the other person. You're not coming at this with, I was victimized, I was this. It's like, no, I did not handle a situation very well, but it's made me better. And I want to get back in. And here's what I do know. My casework was incredible. I can do this. I want to get back in, but I felt like I needed to clear the air. Because I'm going to do everything I can to get back in, and you all, in many ways, hold the key to my rebrand. And don't say that, but you know what I'm saying? But it's like
right.
They need to understand that you feel badly. I think that's the only way to do it, based on what your information you're giving me.
Right.
And by the way, Cindy, you can do it. You've got the courage to do it. I think you've got the maturity now on the backside of this thing, and so now it's moving forward. I think this is the final chapter. Let's close that chapter. Say what you need to say, and I'm telling you, whether or not it works out or not, as far as getting you back into that particular industry, it's still going to be good for you. I guarantee you that. And what's good for Cindy is what I care about. And you will move forward. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Let's go to the chat room. We'll come back to the phones in a moment. Marissa writes in, your template is getting my resume a lot of attention. How do I handle interview situations where I lack college experience, but I have practical job experience? Oh, this is so exciting. Marissa's talking about the Ken Coleman Show, resume guide and template at kencoleman.com. It's free, by the way, if you want to go check it out. So we have a cultural, I'm going to call it a phenomenon, for lack of a better word, where for decades, the barrier for entry for a lot of companies was to put out on a job requirement, you have to have a college degree. That's because in the 50s and the 60s, higher education and college education exploded onto the scene in American culture. And so it was like, this is the way to become very successful. You're going to go get more learning, more skills. And at that time, it was absolutely the case. It's not the case anymore. There are tons of industries that, at the end of the day, there's no college course degree that's going to prepare you to do that work. It's just something that it's not even relevant. So, but you still got this mindset that we're going to put out there on a job requirement that you have to have a college degree, because it was essentially designed to filter out the losers. Just keeping it real. I mean, that's really what that was about. So in this situation, you've got the practical job experience, so lead with that. I wouldn't even bring up the college thing until they bring it up. And if they bring it up, you go, yeah, this was my journey. Here's why I didn't go to college. Give them the quick reason. Don't be ashamed. Don't explain it away. Don't make excuses. Just go, hey, I don't have a college degree. But by that time, hopefully, especially with my resume template, which puts education at the very bottom. So I'm setting you up there. You're getting attention. I would lead with the practical job experience. And again, who I know, even if you don't have somebody that you know in those companies, if you've got somebody that is well known in the industry or respected in the industry, put that endorsement statement right up there at the top of who I know, because that's going to get their attention to say, hey, Marissa's got relevant experience. And that's what matters. Remember this, Marissa, don't apologize for not having a degree. You don't need to. And I'm going to tell you why. What do you think the most important thing that a potential employer, a hiring manager, is looking for when they interview you? What do you think it is? I'll pause so y'all can answer at home. I'm going to tell you. They want to know this. Can Marissa help me win? It's that simple. And if they find out and they believe that Marissa, you can help them win, they don't care where your degree is from. They just don't. And so you, the American worker, you've got to understand that if you don't have the degree, but you've got the chops, that means the talent, you've got the experience, that's what you lead with, because at the end of the day, that's what they're going to make their decision on anyway. So don't be ashamed, be bold. Step into it and go, hey, here's why I don't have my degree, but as it relates to this job and the day-to-day duties, best I can tell, I've got X amount of years experience. I've excelled here. I've got the endorsement quotes to back it up. Go do your homework on me. I'm ready to go. I can jump in right now and help you win. That's all you got to do. 844-747-2577. Throw those chat questions in there. We'll get to more if we have time. 844-747-2577. Okay. Here we go. The dreaded content related to the coronavirus, because this is where we are now. I'm going to give you 5 things I think you can do right now to keep your perspective. Okay. I cannot tell you how much I believe in the power of your mental diet. If you think about this world, you think globally about the industry of nutrition and exercise. It's huge, right? Books coming out every month, exercise programs. We're talking billions upon billions upon billions of dollars are spent on our physical nutrition and health. But you want me to tell you what is a much bigger crisis than your physical health is your mental health. Because that'll lead to problems in your physical health. Now, I'm going to tell you something. What you put in your head is huge. And so here we are. We're in a pandemic. We got negative news coming at us. Every 5 minutes, it's going to get worse before it gets better, the news. So how do you keep perspective in a pandemic? 5 things. Ready? Here we go. Don't read the headlines. Do your own research. Wait a second, Ken. Are you telling me to be an ostrich and stick my head in the sand? No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, don't assume that the headline, that the opinion piece is the full picture. I got news for you. It's not going to be the full picture. Negative, scary news makes you click and it makes you watch. Do I think this is a big, giant conspiracy? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is every day of the week, outside of the coronavirus, negative news is what sells. For every negative piece of news, there's always a positive piece, but that doesn't make you click. Scary stuff is what makes you pay attention. So I'm asking you right now, don't read the headlines. Let me give you an example. Let me just give you one right off the computer. Okay? 18-month social separation could be coming. That is the biggest bunch of crap I have ever heard in my entire life. We're not going to be in social isolation for 18 months. Go ahead right now. Fire away at me. Send me nasty emails. I don't care. I'm telling you, if you believe that, I've got an oceanfront resort in Phoenix, Arizona that I'm the sole investor in, and we're taking investors now. It's not going to happen. I read the article. So I did. I'm doing it for you. Okay? So I clicked on it. It's all conjecture and nonsense. It's worst case scenario modeling stuff. It's not happening, folks. It's not happening anywhere else in the world. China and South Korea, they did the shutdown. We're heading towards that shutdown. This thing is going to cycle out. We're not going to be in our homes for 18 months. Don't believe that. That's a headline. Do your research. The WHO, there's multiple websites out there that are giving you a sick map. They're telling you how many people are dying. Go do your own research. Use your daggum brain. And let's see what the real numbers add up to. Not, it could be this. It could be that. Yeah, guess what? I could get struck by lightning tomorrow. It could happen. But wait a second. Shouldn't I go do the research on that and go, what is the percentage chances that I get struck by lightning? All right. I've made my point. Number 2, focus on the future. Listen, you can't control what's going on right now to some degree. I'll get to that in a minute, what you can control. But focus on the future. In this downtime, all this uncertainty, focus on the future. That's a fun exercise. And I'm not going to get any more explicit or specific on what that looks like. Focus on your future. Try that. Spend 30 minutes just thinking about a positive future and see what happens. Your brain and heart are going to do something really exciting. Trust me on that. Number 3, practice gratitude. You know, when everything's uncertain and things are going to go crazy, one great thing for your head, your mental health, and your emotional health is just focusing on things you're grateful for. I'm really grateful for an amazing wife, 3 healthy kids. We got 2 doodles that are having the time of their life. They don't even know what's going on. You know, what are you grateful for? Focus on that routinely. Number 4, create some new routines. What can really unsettle you and just jack with your perspective in times of uncertainty is you've got a new routine coming at you. And we are creatures of routine. So if you are forced into a new routine, then embrace that routine and create a routine around it. Number 5, stay in community. Now, I understand that there's social shaming right now going on. If you gather in groups of 10 or more, there's all kinds of different edicts coming down from different governors and then the president and all kinds of stuff constantly coming at you. Okay, I'm not going to shame anybody. If you feel like you need to be in social isolation, fantastic. All right? I'm showing up to work every day because I think I'm supposed to. I'm broadcasting to you. I'm not hanging around, shaking hands, hugging people. I'm not doing any of that. Okay? So be responsible. But you can still be in community with people. You know, I got on the phone with my mom and dad last night. Dad's 69, mom's 68. They're technically in the danger zone. So I had a great 30-minute phone conversation with my mom and dad. Sadly, I don't do that every week. But it was a fantastic conversation. We laughed. We prayed together. It was a wonderful time. Gather around the table. Gather around the computer screen. Call somebody. Tell a story from college. Hey, you remember that time when this happened? Still engage in community. We need you, folks. We need you more than ever. Those of you that are watching and listening right now, hear me say this. We don't need the President of the United States. We don't need politicians right now. We don't need doctors. So what we need perspective. And I will tell you candidly, I feel we have lost in this country and around the world right now. I feel we've lost some healthy perspective. So where do we stem the tide? If perspective has gone wacky right now, how would we flatten that curve? I'm really concerned about the perspective pandemic as much as I am the virus pandemic. I really am. I do not minimize the loss of life. I do not minimize people that are sick. I do not minimize the real fear, the true concern about people that are subject to this virus being more negative to them. I'm not minimizing any of that. All of that can be true, and we can be a responsible nation. We can be a responsible world. But I'm telling you, if we are not careful, if our perspective gets so out of whack, we can make more negative things happen that aren't necessary. So I'm concerned about the lack of perspective. So what can you do to flatten that curve of panicky perspective? You can have a voice. You can jump in on social media and say something positive. You can report something positive. You can give positive perspective. You can step up and help somebody and ease their concern. That's what you can do. If you are hoarding cash right now, let me challenge you. You can do what you feel is right, but I'd spend a little. We the people. A phrase that many of us have forgotten what it means. If you live in a capitalistic society, it is the consumer, the confidence of the consumer that drives the economy. And yet, if we allow our leaders to freak out and panic and start shutting things down systematically, more layoffs will happen, more economic problems will happen. What if the people rose up and our leaders said, hey, these people are being smart, but these people aren't panicking. There's confidence here. Food for thought. I can't go on about that for another hour, but I sure would like to. I think you have more power than you realize. I'm asking you to consider what you can do right now. What can you inject into the psyche, into the economy? What can you do? What's your part? Do your part. Show up in a way that you believe you can show up. I think now more than ever, we've got to do it. I believe in the innovative minds of the American people. I believe in the inspiration that you can provide to others. I'm asking you to dig deep and figure out how you can do it. So today is the day for you to step up. My time is up, but I'm going to be back keeping you hopeful. You matter. You do have what it takes, I promise. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.